Most women slow down their fashion game by 60. But at 79, Helen Mirren is still rewriting fashion rules and walking major runways like Paris Fashion Week in 2025. She's proving that age is not a limit but a spotlight. While society often whispers that women should fade into the background after a certain age, Helen steps forward in brighter colors, daring cuts, and with a presence that cannot be ignored. She is not simply surviving style, she is setting it. Her walk across a global runway is more than fashion. It's a declaration that confidence doesn't retire, and elegance doesn't shrink with birthdays, it multiplies. Before we dive in, hit like, subscribe, and tap the new hype button. Every hype helps senior women's voices rise higher on YouTube, where they belong. This channel is built on showing that style over 60 is not just possible, it's powerful. By hitting hype, you are part of a movement that refuses to let women past 60 be invisible. You are telling the algorithm and the world that grace and boldness don't fade, they evolve. Do you think style has an age limit? Tell us in the comments. Be honest. Have you ever walked into a store and felt the fashion wasn't made with you in mind? That silent message, that somehow your style years are behind you. Helen's example slams that door shut. At nearly 80, she's outdressing women half her age, not by competing with them but by proving age brings an authority that youth can't copy. Her red gowns, her silver hair, her fearless choices. They remind us that style is not about pretending to be younger. It's about showing the world you are here, fully and proudly. And here's the tease. What Helen does next is even more radical than bold gowns or couture tailoring. Because her greatest style hack isn't in the closet at all, it's in how she carries herself, how she rewrites the rules of aging in front of millions. Stay with me, because what comes next may completely change the way you think about your own presence. She's not just an actress, she's a living symbol of timeless elegance. Recently honored with the prestigious SAG Life Achievement Award, Helen Mirren was recognized not only for her decades of powerful performances but also for the way she's redefined what it means to be visible, vibrant, and stylish after 60. And just this year, at 80, she walked the L'Oréal Paris runway during Fashion Week, proving in front of flashing cameras and global media that age does not dim the spotlight, it magnifies it. Most women at that age are told to step aside, to soften their presence, to become appropriate. Helen did the opposite. She claimed the runway with silver hair shining, shoulders straight, and a smile that dared anyone to underestimate her. That's why her story resonates so deeply with women over 60. She isn't chasing youth, she's commanding respect. Her awards, her public appearances, her global recognition. They remind us that style and influence don't end with retirement, they evolve into something richer. And while Hollywood has a reputation for worshipping youth, Helen stands as proof that authenticity and courage can command even greater applause. Her elegance is not about blending in, it's about standing out with intention. Would you love to see more women over 60 honored for their style? Drop a yes below. Imagine a world where senior women aren't pushed into the margins of fashion magazines, but placed boldly on the covers. Your voice in the comments can push that vision closer to reality. And here's the tease. What makes Helen unforgettable isn't just the gowns or the awards. It's the little hacks she uses every day, choices that every senior woman watching this can borrow. From how she plays with color to how she carries her silver crown of hair, her style is a masterclass in timeless living. Stay tuned, because the next secret is one that will make you rethink the way you dress tomorrow morning. Hack 1. Bold colors as a signature. Helen Mirren has never been the kind of woman who blends into the wallpaper, and her devotion to bold colors proves it. At 79, while the world often expects women her age to hide in muted shades, she turns to fire-red gowns, deep royal purples, radiant metallics, and striking pinks that command attention. In 2025, when she stepped onto the runway at Paris Fashion Week in a shimmering silver ensemble, critics around the world noted that it wasn't just her age that made history, it was her refusal to tone down her palette. Fashion insiders were stunned. How could a nearly 80-year-old woman be one of the most vibrant presences on the runway? The answer is simple. Bold colors don't scream youth. They whisper power. They carry the weight of confidence, and Helen has mastered their language. Now think about your own choices. How often have you looked into your closet and chosen beige, black, or navy because they felt safe. Society trains women past 60 to play small, to age gracefully by toning themselves down. But Helen rejects that notion completely. Red says, "I am present." Purple speaks of wisdom and royalty. Metallics mirror the light, reminding the world that sparkle is not reserved for the young. These aren't just fashion statements, they're declarations of identity. Each bold piece Helen wears tells the world she's still here, still radiant, and still rewriting what age looks like. Here's the shocking truth. Psychologists have long noted that color impacts not just how others see you, but how you feel about yourself. Wearing vibrant shades can elevate mood, project authority, and even increase how memorable you are to others. Helen intuitively embodies this science every time she steps onto a carpet or a stage. She isn't trying to compete with younger women. She's proving that confidence grows stronger with every passing year, and color is her ally. What bold color have you been avoiding lately? Share it with us in the comments. Is there a ruby scarf you've tucked away, a cobalt blouse you haven't dared to wear, or a golden shawl you thought was too much? Be honest, because those hidden pieces might just be the missing sparks in your style story. Helen's example shows that the world doesn't remember the women who played it safe in muted tones. They remember the woman who dared to glow, who chose to be unforgettable when others expected her to shrink. And the beauty of her approach is that it translates into everyday life. You don't need couture gowns to follow Helen's lead. Wear a bright cardigan to Sunday brunch, step into emerald earrings at your granddaughter's graduation, or try a metallic belt at a community event. These little bursts of color are more than fabric. They are statements that you refuse to fade. Seniors across America are challenging old stereotypes in travel, lifestyle, and health. It's time to do the same in fashion. Helen shows us that it's not just possible, it's magnetic. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Her second secret has nothing to do with bold colors. In fact, it's something most women spend decades trying to hide, something society insists you should cover up at all costs. But Helen doesn't just reveal it, she celebrates it. Stay tuned, because this next style choice is her most radical yet, and it might completely change the way you see yourself in the mirror tomorrow morning. Hack 2. Silver hair as a crown. Helen Mirren made one of the boldest style decisions of her career when she stopped coloring her hair and embraced her natural silver. In an industry obsessed with youth, where most actresses her age desperately cling to dyes and disguises, Helen went the other way. She let time speak, and it made her unforgettable. She transformed something many women are pressured to hide into her most iconic accessory. It's not just hair, it's a crown of experience, wisdom, and resilience. By refusing to cover her age, she made her age impossible to ignore, turning what society calls old into something radiant, regal, and modern. What makes her choice so revolutionary is the culture she defied. For decades, women in America have been bombarded with ads promising to erase the gray as if silver strands were a flaw to be corrected. But Helen flipped the script. She revealed that silver hair can illuminate the face, bring out the sparkle in the eyes, and soften features in ways artificial color rarely achieves. When she walked onto red carpets with her luminous natural hair, critics expected whispers of decline. Instead, they saw a trendsetter. Fashion editors, hairstylists, and entire magazines declared that she had elevated silver to couture status. Suddenly, what once symbolized aging became a global statement of elegance. There's also science behind her impact. Studies show that people who confidently embrace grey hair are often perceived as wiser, more trustworthy, and even more powerful in leadership roles. Helen embodies that perception every time she steps on stage or screen. Her silver strands aren't just hair, they're symbols of a life fully lived, a visual reminder that beauty evolves instead of vanishing. For women over 60 in the US, where ageism often lingers in workplaces and social circles, this choice isn't just cosmetic, it's liberating. Do you think silver hair is empowering? Yes or no? Be honest in the comments, because your answer may encourage another woman who's standing at the mirror with a box of dye in her hand, wondering if it's time to let her true crown show. Helen's story proves that once you stop fighting age, you start radiating it in ways that feel free, authentic, and even rebellious. And maybe, just maybe, that rebellion is what makes people turn their heads when you walk into a room. Practical takeaways. Start small. If you've been coloring for years, consider softer highlights that blend with your natural silver. Or let the roots grow and style them with confidence instead of panic. Play with bold earrings, chic glasses, or statement scarves that frame your silver hair as a fashion choice rather than a reluctant surrender. Think of it as curating a new look, one that younger women cannot imitate because it's uniquely yours. Helen's decision reminds us that the goal isn't to look younger, it's to look authentic, radiant, and unapologetically present. And here's the tease. Helen's third hack has nothing to do with hair color or bold accessories. It's not about dye, and it's not about sparkle. It's something subtler, but far more powerful, because it proves that elegance isn't about what you buy. It's about what you adjust. Stay tuned, because the next secret will change the way you think about the very clothes already hanging in your closet. Hack 3. The perfect fit. Helen Mirren has never relied on labels to define her style. What sets her apart is something far more practical yet often overlooked, the art of tailoring. From her most dazzling gowns on the red carpet to her off-duty jeans, Helen makes sure every piece is adjusted to honor her body as it is today, not as it was decades ago, and not as the fashion industry dictates it should be. Her secret is simple yet transformative. Confidence doesn't come from the name on the tag, it comes from how the fabric frames you. This is why, even in the most understated outfits, Helen looks polished, modern, and effortlessly powerful. What's shocking is how often this principle is ignored. Surveys show that most women wear clothes 1 or 2 sizes too big or too small, believing that buying the right brand or following a trend is enough. But Helen proves that a $20 trip to a tailor can do more for your look than a $200 splurge on a new outfit. She shows that clothing isn't meant to squeeze you into someone else's idea of beauty. It's meant to be shaped to your own story. That's why her gowns glide instead of cling, her blazers sharpen instead of overwhelm, and her jeans look chic instead of sloppy. Fit is the quiet language of style, and Helen is fluent. Think about your own wardrobe for a moment. How many pieces are just close enough in fit? Maybe it's a blouse that pulls slightly at the buttons, a skirt that hangs a bit too loose at the waist, or pants that drag at the hem. You wear them, but you never truly feel like yourself in them. Helen's lesson is to stop settling for good enough. Instead, adjust them until they feel like they were made for you. That small shift changes not only how the outfit looks but how you carry yourself. Clothes that fit properly allow you to stand taller, move more comfortably, and project ease without effort. Have you ever loved an altered outfit more than something new? Tell us in the comments, because your story might remind another woman that the best shopping trip might start in her own closet. Tailoring isn't about extravagance, it's about respect, for your body and for the life you live in it. Helen embodies this truth each time she steps out. She doesn't chase fashion, she shapes it around her. And that act of claiming control over her clothes is why she always looks timeless, never trapped in trends. The beauty of this hack is how accessible it is. Seniors across America can apply it without chasing runway looks or breaking budgets. Find a local seamstress, support a neighborhood tailor, or even learn a few simple alterations yourself. Start with a favorite blazer or dress and adjust it to your current shape. The change will shock you. It's like breathing new life into your wardrobe without spending a fortune. But Helen's next hack isn't stitched into fabric at all. It isn't about hems or seams or buttons. It's about something deeper, something she carries before she even puts on a single piece of clothing. Stay tuned, because her next secret proves that true elegance is more than style, it's presence, and it might be the most powerful accessory you already own. Hack 4. Posture as presence. Helen Mirren has often said that posture is her invisible accessory, and when you watch her step onto a stage or red carpet, you understand exactly what she means. Her shoulders back, her walk steady, her chin lifted just enough to radiate poise, she commands the space without a single word. It's not the dress that turns heads first, it's the way she carries herself in it. While fashion critics rave about her bold gowns or tailored suits, what they're really responding to is the aura created by posture. Confidence doesn't begin with fabric, it begins with stance. And Helen has mastered that silent language. The truth is shocking. Studies in psychology reveal that posture alone can change how people perceive your age, energy, and even authority. Slouching is often read as tiredness, invisibility, or decline, but standing tall is read as youth, vitality, and leadership. That's why Helen looks ageless when she walks into a room, because her posture projects power before her clothes have a chance to speak. For seniors over 60, this is a transformative reminder. You don't need to buy a new wardrobe to look more elegant. You may only need to adjust how you carry yourself in the one you already own. Think of the times you've seen someone walk into a gathering. Before you even notice their outfit, you notice their presence. Posture is the frame that displays the clothing, the body language that tells the world whether you feel small or expansive. Helen teaches us that no accessory, no necklace, no scarf, no designer label can compete with the impact of posture. And the best part, unlike fashion trends, posture costs nothing. It's a practice, a habit, a choice you can make daily. Have you noticed posture changes how people see you? Comment yes if you agree. Your reflection might inspire another woman who feels overlooked to realize that she can reclaim attention simply by lifting her shoulders and walking with intention. Many women over 60 feel their style is ignored in shops or public spaces. Helen proves that standing with dignity forces the world to see you differently, to give you the respect you deserve. Here's the practical side. Posture isn't about rigidity or perfection. It's about presence. Simple exercises like yoga, stretching, or even mindful walking can restore balance and strength. Helen herself has credited physical awareness and self-care as vital to her radiance. Seniors in the US can take advantage of community classes, senior centers, or even online tutorials that help build posture-friendly routines. Think of it as polishing the crown you already wear. What's most moving about Helen's example is that posture reflects an inner truth. She doesn't just dress like a queen, she carries herself like one. That's why photographs of her walking into a room feel timeless. You see not just an actress but a woman fully in control of her story. And you realize you can have the same impact in your own circles, whether it's walking into church, stepping onto a dance floor, or simply greeting family at a gathering. And her fifth hack may shock you. It breaks every so-called fashion rule. It isn't about standing taller or blending elegance with discipline. It's about daring to throw out the old script of what's proper and rewriting it with fearless creativity. Stay with me, because what Helen does next is not only stylish, it's rebellious, and it may give you the courage to take risks you've been putting off for years. Hack 5. Rule breaking with grace. Helen Mirren has built her reputation not just on elegance, but on rebellion. While most women are pressured to follow outdated rules about what's age-appropriate, Helen has made a career out of ignoring them entirely. She wears sneakers with sweeping gowns, leather jackets over pearl necklaces, and bold patterns where others might play it safe. Every time she appears at a public event, she reminds the world that style after 60 isn't about blending in, it's about rewriting the script. And what makes her rebellion remarkable is how graceful it always looks. Her choices don't scream rebellion for rebellion's sake. They whisper freedom, creativity, and courage. The shocking truth is that many so-called fashion rules weren't created to empower women but to control them. Rules like no bright colors after a certain age, never mix casual with formal, or keep accessories minimal as you get older were meant to push women into invisibility. Helen rejects all of that. By pairing sneakers with gowns, she shows that comfort and glamour can coexist. By layering leather with pearls, she proves that toughness and elegance can share the same outfit. And by stepping onto red carpets dressed in combinations no stylist handbook would suggest, she redefines what timeless means, not bound by rules, but by confidence. Think about your own experience. How many times have you held back from wearing something you loved because it wasn't done or it didn't suit your age? Maybe it was sequins at a holiday party, sneakers at a wedding, or bold jewelry at Sunday service. Helen reminds us that the only true fashion mistake is denying yourself the joy of self-expression. That joy is contagious. People notice it when you wear what makes you feel alive. What fashion rule have you broken that made you feel great? Share your story in the comments. Your example might free another woman to take a risk she's been avoiding. Seniors across the US often face subtle messages that say, tone it down, stay invisible, don't push the limits. But Helen's choices are living proof that the opposite is true. When you take risks, people don't laugh, they lean closer. They're inspired. The most empowering part of Helen's approach is that it doesn't require Hollywood access or designer closets. It simply requires daring. Pair your most comfortable sneakers with a dress you love. Add a leather jacket to a floral blouse. Wear statement earrings with your simplest jeans. These little acts of rebellion send a big message. You're not bound by age, you're defined by freedom. And that freedom is magnetic. Helen's legacy of style shows us that rules are only barriers if you obey them. Break them with grace, and they become stepping stones to authenticity. She's proof that the most stylish women aren't the ones who follow the book, they're the ones who write a new one with every outfit. And her final hack is the deepest. It's not even about clothes. It's about the mindset behind them, the inner confidence that makes everything else shine brighter. Stay with me, because this last secret explains why Helen's style continues to inspire millions, and it may just reshape the way you dress and the way you see yourself forever. Hack 6. Dressing for herself. Helen Mirren's most powerful style philosophy is deceptively simple. She dresses to please herself, not others. In a world that constantly tells women, especially those over 60, that their choices should be made to satisfy trends, peers, or even family expectations, Helen stands firm in her independence. Her wardrobe isn't a performance for critics or a concession to rules. It's a reflection of her own joy. That's why her outfits never feel forced. Whether she's dazzling in a red carpet gown or strolling in casual denim, the common thread is self-respect. She knows that the most timeless outfit isn't stitched from fabric, it's woven from confidence. This mindset is quietly revolutionary. For decades, women have been trained to dress for approval, be it from husbands, colleagues, or even strangers at a social gathering. By the time many reach their 60s or 70s, that pressure becomes suffocating. Wear age-appropriate dresses. Avoid standing out. Blend in. Helen refuses all of it. At nearly 80, she wears what makes her smile when she looks in the mirror. That personal standard, not the judgment of others, is why her style feels both fearless and authentic. She has nothing left to prove to anyone, so she proves everything to herself. Here's the surprising truth. Research in psychology shows that dressing for yourself actually boosts mental health. Women who choose clothes that reflect their own identity, rather than chasing external approval, report higher self-esteem, stronger mood, and even improved social connections. Why? Because authenticity radiates. When Helen steps into a room dressed for her own delight, people notice the glow. They aren't drawn to the dress, they're drawn to the energy. That lesson is invaluable for seniors who may feel invisible in a culture obsessed with youth. Dressing for yourself makes you visible, magnetic, and unforgettable. Be honest. Do you dress more for yourself or others? Comment below. It's a vulnerable question, but your answer may spark a wave of honesty that encourages other women to reevaluate how they show up each day. Maybe you've been wearing outfits you don't even like because they're appropriate. Maybe you've been saving that one vibrant piece for an occasion that never comes. Helen's example gives you permission to stop waiting. Your occasion is now. Practical application doesn't require Hollywood wardrobes. It starts with small, joyful acts. Wear the earrings that make you smile even if no one else notices. Put on the scarf that reminds you of a trip you loved. Step into shoes that feel bold even if they don't match every rule. When you dress for yourself, you carry your memories, your spirit, and your uniqueness into every setting. That's more powerful than any designer label. Helen's consistency proves this point. Audiences admire her not because she conforms, but because she doesn't. Her choices send a subtle challenge to every woman watching. Who are you dressing for? Because the moment you begin dressing for yourself, the world responds differently. Respect follows authenticity, and elegance follows respect. And the transformation this mindset brings is why Helen remains ageless. She has turned self-respect into a wardrobe, and it fits her better than any gown. Stay tuned, because her story doesn't end with outfits, it's a lesson in living. Her final transformation shows us that aging isn't a curtain call, but an encore, and you are the star of your own stage. At nearly 80, Helen Mirren isn't just keeping up with fashion. She's leading it, and in doing so she's rewriting what the world expects of women over 60. Too often, society whispers that aging is about shrinking into the background, about retreating quietly while younger generations take the stage. Helen proves the opposite. Her hacks show that aging is not a fade-out, it's a brighter spotlight, one that shines with wisdom, resilience, and courage. Each choice she makes, whether embracing bold colors, celebrating her silver crown, tailoring clothes to her shape, walking with posture that commands respect, breaking rules with flair, or dressing purely for herself, demonstrates that age is not a weakness to be hidden but a strength to be celebrated. She has turned time itself into an accessory, and that is why her style resonates so powerfully. This is the deeper takeaway for every senior woman watching. Elegance is not borrowed from youth. It belongs to you, right here, right now. The world may try to erase older women, but Helen insists on being seen, and in doing so she clears the path for others. Fashion becomes more than fabric. It becomes a statement of dignity and presence. For seniors in America who may feel invisible in stores, in media, or even in family dynamics, Helen's story offers proof that you are not past your prime, you are in your encore. If Helen inspires you, hype this video right now. Let's make sure women over 60 stay front and center. Your hype isn't just a button. It's a declaration to YouTube and the world that senior voices deserve the spotlight. Think of it as planting a flag that says, style, grace, and influence don't retire. They evolve. And the more of us who hype, the louder that message becomes. And here's your challenge. Which of her hacks will you try this week? Will you wear that bold red scarf waiting in your drawer? Will you finally let your silver hair shine without apology? Will you take a blazer to a tailor and rediscover how powerful a perfect fit feels? Or maybe you'll simply walk taller, remembering that posture is the invisible crown you can wear anywhere. Whatever you choose, make it yours. The key is not imitation, it's transformation. Helen's example is a guide, but the real magic happens when you take her lessons and let them express your own story. Take one of Helen's hacks, wear that bold scarf, show your silver, or simply walk taller, and watch how the world responds. Don't just keep this inspiration to yourself. Share it. The women in your circle deserve to know that style is not confined to a number on a calendar. The confidence of one woman can ignite the courage of another. Hit like, share this with a woman who inspires you, and subscribe to Ageless Style for women over 60. Don't forget to tap hype, because every hype keeps our voices rising. This isn't just about fashion, it's about visibility, dignity, and the celebration of a life well lived. Helen Mirren has shown us the way, but it's your turn now to step into the spotlight and prove that elegance deepens, confidence grows, and beauty endures.